Dozens of House Republicans met with President Obama yesterday to discuss those issues, along with the debt ceiling and Medicare. One of those Republicans is House Majority Leader Cantor, who joins us this morning from Capitol Hill. Sir, good to have you back with us this morning.
Good morning, Erica.
So you met with the president yesterday. Americans want to hear something positive coming out of any of these meetings. They want to see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel when it comes to government and money. Can you point to one area where you felt there was even the smallest bit of progress?
Well, you know, there is some progress going on, Erica. There's a lot of discussion that I'm engaged in with the Vice President as well as some other leaders from Capitol Hill, trying to forge some consensus on how we can cut the level of spending here in Washington and once and for all sort of change how the system works here so that we can live within our means at the federal level, just as most families have to do in businesses, and then focus really on the long-term goal, which is what you're talking about this morning, is growing this economy. We all know that the economy is not growing fast enough and too many people are out of work.
And we are getting those unemployment numbers tomorrow, which are not expected to be great. May's expected to be fairly soft. Part of the problem, though, that we've been talking about a great deal on this program is that companies are great profits. They're sitting on a lot of cash. They now know how to do more with less. How can any government, doesn't matter which side of the aisle, how can anybody convince a company that they should spend money on new hires?
Well, I mean, that's the question. You can't wave a magic wand in Washington and tell companies to hire. What we're trying to do is create an environment where you do have more small businesses starting up, more entrepreneurs willing to invest money to create jobs. And we know in America that's where most jobs come from small businesses. That's why we Republicans unleashed a plan last week for America's job creators, the small businesses and entrepreneurs of this country, to get them back into the game. And what we're trying to do is make sure that Washington stops hurting small business and again begins to create an environment where you're going to see entrepreneurs and small business folks willing to invest their capital.
Give us the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, Dave Camp, is working on this tax reform plan. Give us some specifics, though, about what we would see change. Are we talking about reducing deductions? Are we talking about overall tax rate changes? How are some of those changes perhaps going to affect?
Well, Chairman Camp is working on a comprehensive tax reform bill, and what that will do is lower rates, both at the corporate level and the individual level. And in order to do that, we've got to take care of eliminating some of the loopholes and special preferences that a lot of interests here in Washington have been able to gain through the code over the years. And what that will do is broaden the tax base, lower the rates for most people, and then we can see, I believe, more certainty put back into the game, and that will help put incentives in place for small businesses and entrepreneurs to begin to grow and invest again.
Real quickly, sir, there is this issue, of course, of the debt ceiling. In 2 months, basically, the government won't be able to pay its bills. If you don't get what you want in a compromise, are you willing to let that happen?
What we're trying to do, and as I said before, the Vice President is heading up talks, and we meet twice weekly, several hours a day, on both sides of the aisle, trying to reach some consensus of where we can cut. My sense is that we have already identified trillions of dollars in cuts, and what we want to do is make sure that we do that and put in place a plan in which we can actually demonstrate to families across the country as well as the markets that Washington's changed now, that we can get our fiscal house in order and make sure it doesn't get out of control again. My hope is we get that done and get on with focusing on how we grow this economy.
All right, well, we'll be following that progress. Congressman Cantor, thanks.
Thank you.